Hi, thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be making some sea glass, and it's two different videos. The first one will just be making the basic sea glass, which is very simple and very fast, and then the second video will show you how to etch it to make it look like real sea glass. Well, almost real sea glass. Okay, so just hang on. I'm going to put the phone into its holder and away we go. Oh, I know. This is the fun part. You can see what a mess my table looks like. Here we go. This is just going to take a minute. I have a mandrel, and I have this very pale aqua glass, and you can tell which one it is by looking at the very end, and you see the aqua at the end. There's also blue glass that's very pale, and for me, those are my favorite ones for sea glass. I tend to like the look of aqua sea glass or beach glass. This is just going to take a minute. What I do is I melt the glass, I make some basic bead shapes, I press them, and then I mush them around a little bit so they don't look like perfect squares or anything else. Now I tend to make them on the smaller side, that's just my personal taste, and I do a couple on the same mandrel, so let's get a couple going. What's fun is you are making imperfect shapes, and sometimes it's hard for us as bead makers to do that, to mess them up on purpose. But believe me, I don't normally see sea glass or beach glass that looks totally symmetrical or perfectly shaped. I want it to be banged up a little bit. I want it to be chunks. Actually, bigger chunks are always good. And just think of this, we get to have chunks that have the perfect holes through the center of it so we can wear it in our jewelry. And I like to make this sea glass so that I can use it like with some of the seashells that I make and stuff like that. It makes good additional beads for it. So we're just starting off. I'm making some barrels, and we'll fix them into the shapes that we want in a little bit. But I'm leaving it as a barrel instead of mashing it now because it will hold the heat just a little bit better when it's more round than when it's square and flatter. So here we go. Let's get another one on here, and I don't make them the same shape or exactly the same size, but usually I make them kind of close-ish in size. It depends on what I'm using them for. And you saw me go back to heat this up because we want to keep them warm enough that they aren't going to crack on us, right? So oftentimes what I'm doing, and you can probably see this, I'll heat a bunch of glass and then add it onto the bead. And again, as I said, it's not perfect. How about if we make a couple of them? Okay, we'll go back, warm this one up. It was getting chilly, and I'm seeing the glow. Can you see the little bit of the glow in there? That's what I'm looking for in each bead while it's hanging around waiting for the next one to be made. This is fun to do with spacer beads and other types of beads also, but usually the simpler they are, the easier it is to make a couple of them on a mandrel. If you start getting complicated, then you forget to keep the rest of them warm, and you have a few more problems oftentimes. Now I have a little chip in my bead release there, so I need to skip over that area and just go on to the next one. We'll put this lump of glass on here. If you have a little bubble in it, no problem. I kind of like to have mine centered though, unless I'm going for non-centered, asymmetrical style with holes. But usually I like the holes to kind of be in the center. I just think things hang better. Let's warm this one up while that one's cooling. And I think we're going to need to make it a little bigger. And let's warm this one up too. I'm looking for that glow to hit the glass. We'll add a little more to this one. This one looks like it's the smallest. And again, Not looking for perfection because I'm just going to be messing them up anyhow. Adding a little bit to the ends. I like my beads to have, my sea glass beads, not to be totally rounded on each side. When I flatten them, I prefer to have a little bit more of a potentially squarish edge to it. Okay, so you can see here are my 3 beads, and it's kind of hard to see against there. I'm getting my mashers out. First, I'm going to make sure that all the beads have some heat in them. Don't want them cracking while I'm in the middle of this. Adding heat to all of them. More heat, more heat. Here we go. So I'm going to heat up this one enough to press it. And it's just going to be a simple press, not a whole lot. See the shape there? I'm going to do the same to the next one. First I'm going to add a little heat back into it. Let's add some more heat. That's the only problem. You make a couple at once. I like it because you can compare the sizes then, but then you spend a lot of time keeping things warm. So I have this one on this plane, so I'm going to press this one. Same, and let's heat this one up. And we'll press this on pretty much the same plane also. Okay, so now we got to warm everything back up again. And I like that they're kind of squarish. And what I do is I take my brass stump shaper and I'm going to mess them up a little bit more. So some of these have some chill marks. I don't know whether you can see the chill marks here. I kind of like that a little bit. So I'm going to leave that. It may come off and it may not. And I'm going to take my brass tool and I'm just going to press in a little bit to give that corner an indentation. Go back, clean. Heat up everything again a little bit. We're going to do the same thing on another one, a little indentation. Change things around a little bit so that they don't look too perfect. I like a little bit of a mark, a gash, or something on them. And that's all I'm doing. I tend to like them more to the corners. I like to keep these sides a little bit straighter. That they aren't perfect, but that way if I'm putting them up against another bead, I kind of know what I'm working with. Okay, so there we go. Those are 3 beads. We're going to anneal them, and then I will make another video to show you how I acid etch them. Nice and close for you. Thanks.